Hey, gang! Today I'm taking you to Antalya in Turkey. I'll show you what to expect in Antalya and also what it looks like in November, slightly off-season. We spent 2.5 days in Antalya. Personally, I think it is enough. Antalya is a beautiful city, a large city, 2.6 million inhabitants. It's on the Mediterranean side of Turkey. Whether you arrive via the airport or the coach station, you'll find tramways. The public transport is fairly easy in Antalya, and you don't have to buy a ticket ahead, you can tap your credit card, as long as it's contactless, of course. At the time of recording, which is November 2024, a journey in a tram or on a bus is 25 liras, about 56 cents in British pounds. I have to confess, we were fairly disappointed when getting to Antalya because I expected to be able to rent a scooter or any type of moped. I don't think it's something a lot of people do like they would in Greece, for example, because there are very, very few rental places and they wanted 50 euros a day. That was just too much, so we ended up using public transport only. Antalya is a big city. We stayed in a hotel that was actually quite bad, but very close to the city center. I think a lot of people stay outside of town in those big resorts on the outskirts. But we were very central, so we could walk to the old town and enjoy being in the city in the evenings as well. There are not actually that many beaches in Antalya. So if you book into one of those big hotels outside of town, even if it looks like it's close to the seaside, you might want to double check that you have access to a beach. A lot of them are very close to the seaside, but there are no beaches. It's one of those rocky areas where you can jump from to go for a swim. Like anywhere in Turkey, you have thousands of street cats. They are very well taken care of by the locals. You could spend hours strolling by the old town and the little port. It is beautiful down there. There aren't many beaches in the city center, apart from a tiny little one, but it is private. So you'd have to pay to rent a chair for the day. So we did not go. I mean, this is only worth it if you were gonna spend the day in there. This is the one, the little beach here. It's beautiful. But we decided to walk an hour and go to Konyaalti beach instead. That's sweet. A little hotel for street cats. Those boats can take you on daily excursions, mainly to go and see the Düden Waterfalls from the sea. At the back of this little alleyway, you'll find a lift to go up from the port. And this is Konyaalti Beach. Konyaalti Beach is located on the west side of the city. It is about 13 kilometers long. The part I visited was fine pebbles, but apparently there are some stretches of the beach that are a little bit sandier. It was mid-November when we visited and it was still warm enough to enjoy the sea. Now, Turkish people, mainly men and boys, love fishing. And they'll fish with their hooks right next to you, which can be a little bit scary. I was a bit scared of getting a hook in my face. Now, you'll also see some street vendors on the beach, like this gentleman with a tray on his head. If you are used to French, Italian or Spanish beaches, you probably imagine that he's selling donuts or something. He's actually selling mussels. Mussels are said to be aphrodisiac in Turkey. We are now on the other side of town. At the skate park, no one was wearing a helmet. Very different from the UK. Now this is the river going straight down into the sea with a huge waterfall. So this is the Duden Park waterfalls we're heading to, also known as Lower Duden Waterfalls. The Upper Duden Waterfalls are in a park north of town. We did not go there. I wanted to see a waterfall falling into the sea. We got there by bus, public transport. It took about an hour. And the waterfalls were stunning. We went at sunset time, which is perfect, but I think you can go a bit later. I was told that they were somehow lit up at night. Beautiful place to enjoy a sunset. Another hotel for stray animals. And we got back into town in the evening. The town center is quite nice to go for a walk. And that's an interesting police car here. I don't know if it's all over Turkey, but in Istanbul, we saw the police with some very fancy cars for the police. Apparently they sometimes seize them from the criminal gangs and they use them for themselves. This is a statue of Atalos II, the founder of the city. I wish I could tell you a little bit more about his story. Unfortunately, I had booked a walking tour, but because it was off-season, it got cancelled because they didn't have enough people. Maybe one of the downsides about going at the end of autumn. Interesting Turkish delight here. In Turkey, it's quite common to make you try the products before you buy. So even if you were just window shopping, they might make you try some lovely Turkish delights. This is the Hadrian Gate, named after the Emperor Hadrian. It dates back to 130, Common Era. The next morning, we went rafting on the river. The rafting spot is about 90 kilometers away on the Köprüçay River. It is a very popular activity to do in Antalya. The Tower of London, in case I feel homesick. For the rafting, we actually got a very good deal. There are different companies running it, but most of them would offer a package with a jeep ride, a buggy or quad bike ride, a zip line, and the rafting, with the lunch and the pickup for about 45–50 euros. This is me enjoying my free jeep ride, because we didn't actually book the jeep ride, we only booked the rafting. So we only paid 15 for the rafting, but you basically get the full day as well. I didn't care about the ATV, the quad ride, because it's full of pollution because you are behind everybody else and you breathe in all the pollution, and that's only 20 minutes anyway. Oh, a little poser. So if you book only the rafting, you pay far less than anybody else, but you basically have the same day. Apart from the zip line, but they were not very impressive, to be honest. The rafting part of the river is about 14 kilometers. It is fun, but the rapids are not massively impressive. Not very scary. Our guide had somehow decided that our group wanted it to be extreme. His way to make it so-called extreme was to push everyone in the water. And in November, the water was 6 degrees Celsius. It's not much warmer in the summer. Apparently, it's about 9 in the summer. Our guide said that it was the last week that they were running the rafting for the season, so don't expect to do it after November. It's probably way too cold after that anyway, so you probably don't want to do rafting in a cold river. And we thought the London K2 telephone boxes were original.
You're very smart, my love.
You hear a lot about the Turkish bazaars. To be honest, I didn't particularly care for them. It's just a lot of fake brands, fake and fake and fake again. Not that I particularly wanted to go shopping anyway, because I was on a hand luggage. The Hadrian Gate was rediscovered apparently in the 19th century and restored in the 50s. Espresso tonic. I've not tried this before. The food was nice in Antalya. Well, a lot of kebabs. Surprisingly, we didn't see that much fish for a seaside town. Or maybe we just didn't go into the right places. We did not go into any fancy restaurants. We're budget travelers. But we did have a nice Turkish coffee. Turkish coffee is of course very famous, but surprisingly Turkish people drink much more tea. They are actually a great producer of tea. They call it chai. So overall, we enjoyed Antalya even in November. I expected to meet many British tourists, because of course you've got EasyJet flights coming all the way down here. We did meet a few, but they were all coming for dental treatments. Of course, Turkey is big into medical tourism, dental treatments and hair implants. And that's it for Antalya. Time to get to the airport for our last stop in Turkey, Istanbul. You can get to the airport with a tram in about half an hour. Hope you enjoyed that little video. Make sure you check my other videos in Turkey. And of course, if you've made it that far into the video, you might want to consider subscribing. Bye!